There we go. That seems to be working now. Happy days. Hold on a second. Good evening, Scotland. Good evening, social media land. I hope you're well. It is Friday, the 27th of September, 2024. Welcome to Saorsa Live. We are streaming across Facebook, YouTube and TikTok, so please do take the time to like and share across all these platforms. If we do lose the live stream for any reason, please head to one of the other platforms where we are broadcasting and continue to participate in the chat. We're also recording this live and all the comments as well to ensure the security and integrity of the stream. Tonight we're going to explore the power of the additional member system and why both Votes SNP strategy might be holding us back a bit. We'll discuss how we can weaponise Holyrood for independence by filling it with pro-Scottish voices, not just in government but also in opposition as well. And finally we'll talk about the importance of uniting the independence movement beyond political parties and how working together is the only way to truly deliver a free and independent Scotland. But listen, before we begin all that, right, I want to address something that goes all the way back to 2021, the general election in 2021. And this is the bizarre reactions that I received when discussing the potential of the additional member system to deliver not only a pro-independence government, but also a pro-indie opposition. Yeah, I was discussing this way back then too, but the reactions that I got from people was, you're a Yoon. I was also British Security Services, I was an agent provocateur, and I was just wrong. 1.2 million votes delivered 2 pro-Indy list seats for the SNP. If we'd used those votes for another pro-Indy political entity, then we would have had a further 32 pro-independence MSPs in Holyrood. I will do a whole live stream to show how that calculation works. I'm not doing it tonight though, okay? But you've got to remember, according to everybody that I was speaking to, I was wrong. I was an agent of chaos. No, I wasn't. So I've posted this week about 4 videos talking about this. It's kind of the same sort of theme. I started on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I put out 2 on Wednesday and a wee conclusion type video on the Thursday as well. But they're all the same sort of themes about making Holyrood the sort of bastion for the talking shop of political entities about, independence. A lot of them have had favourable comments, so I want to say thank you to everybody that has commented on them, and people that have joined the YouTube and subscribed to it and things as well and commented there. However, we did have an interesting comment that was sent to me. Now, I am not, just before I put this up here, I am not mocking this person. I am not going out of my way to say, hey, listen, you're totally wrong. But there's a couple of things that I need to address on it. Okay, I'm going to read this out to you. Tactical voting in a Holyrood election is being promoted by people who don't understand the system, people who don't understand voter psychology, people who don't understand that instead of decreasing the number of Unionist MSPs, it could increase the number. People who do understand AMS but who are willing to gamble with a Unionist majority. People who do understand AMS and have more sinister reasons for promoting, I have no idea which category this guy is in. But SNP voters need to beware of folk like him. Folk like me. Oh, right, okay, I'm not here to mock this chap, right, at all, okay? However, I need to address 2 points on this comment, not to justify my existence, but to give serious context for the rest of the live stream tonight. First of all, I have no idea which category this guy's in. That's me. What category am I in, right? So please take a moment to visit my YouTube channel, all right? There is 257 pro-independence videos that I have made personally there. This is not including TikTok. This is not including all the writing I do on Instagram, okay? I have made all that content pretty much myself. On the YouTube one, 62 of those videos are live streams. So, what category do I come under? I'm independence above all else, okay? The second one is SNP voters need to beware of folk like him. Wow. This is quite funny warning people away from someone who's not only pro-independence, but always gives his first vote to the SNP every single time. Okay, I believe in the SNP. I'm a member. Perhaps not, I'm not a zealot, but they are the party of government and they are the largest independence party that is currently established. Do I agree with everything they do? Of course not. Do I support them? Well, yes, obviously. But to suggest that SNP voters should beware of folk like him is a bit of a silly thing to say. And we're going to have a wee look at how silly that is if somebody takes the time to actually go and look up the person in the first place. So here we go. Here is me at the SNP conference this year, waiting to be painted like the French girls in front of the SNP sign. All right, that is me. There we go. All right. Then we have me with our Stephen. Okay, a good guy fighting for us down in Westminster. This was taken while I was marshalling a 25,000 person Believe in Scotland march in Edinburgh last year. You know, Believe in Scotland is a proper independence organisation. Perhaps SNP voters should beware of them too. And here's me with the former First Minister of Scotland at that same event, and at the next event in Glasgow as well. Fancy that. You know, I'm have to say that every SNP person has to beware of me because I'm such a threat. Okay, crazy, hey? Right, where did we get to? Is it this one? No, it's not this one, it's this one. Here we go. Here's me out canvassing for Joanna. Now, Joanna and I disagree on a few things, but I liked her. She was a great MP for me. You know, she did very well. But I'm out there, you know, making everybody be aware of me. And at the conference as well, some incredible faces there, because I am genuinely such a threat to everybody about it. And there's Jenny. This was taken at the 10-year anniversary of the referendum when John Swinney was doing his speech. And we have one last image here as well that I'm going to show you. And that is me teaching John Swinney how to use the tills in my shop when he was out campaigning. Yeah. He came and I basically sat him down at a till and he served people. You know, go figure that one, eh? So, when you think about this, all right, I am genuinely somebody to be aware of, all right? So I'm a serious threat to SNP voters because I'm obviously an agent of the deep British state sent to mix things up a bit with my ignorance to the AMS system and how we should vote. So let me wrap this whole part up, okay, before we move on to the main live stream. This is the context of it all. The hegemony of politics, where we support only one party, is not for me. I will happily campaign for the SNP, attend conference and rub shoulders with all the bigwigs, right? That's me. I quite like that, okay? I will not, however, place party above the value of my country's right to self-determination. I will always want to flood Holyrood with as many representatives from pro-independence parties or even just single independent MSPs that are pro-indie. For me, it just makes sense. I mean, why wouldn't you want to do this? So think about that, all right? Think about that. And if you want to understand how the EMS system works, there's a video on my YouTube. It's got like a little Einstein on it. Okay, go and have a look at that, okay? And spend 10 minutes of your life learning how it works. Incidentally, that same presentation is actually available on the Scottish Government website too. It's a tool that they use to teach school kids about the EMS, and it's super good. Okay, right, so before we begin, I'm just going to send you this little message. Start our lives with an important reminder that we are fighting one of the world's greatest propaganda machines. The British state and their right-wing oligarch-run media. To combat this, we ask that you always follow, like and share and comment positively across all social media platforms on any of your favourite Scottish independence creators and commentators. By doing this, you help to spread the word of our cause and manipulate social media algorithms to benefit our struggle. So please, for now, like and share this live stream, and if you haven't already, follow this account. Thank you. Did you hear that? Did that come through okay? I hope so. I could hear it a little bit on my speakers, my headphones down there. Right, okay, let's have a quick look around robin of everything. I don't think we're actually broadcasting in Facebook again. There seems to be technical problems when I broadcast to Facebook. So I've got TikTok Live and YouTube Live over here. So we will be jumping between both chats and saying hi to people. So hi Phoenix, hi Alan, Kareem, I saw you on both. You're just being greedy on both. There's Druss as well, and Ali, thank you for sharing across in TikTok land. I genuinely appreciate that. Keep tapping the like so on TikTok, because the more likes you get, the more likely it's about to jump into other people's For You pages. Keep sharing it as well across in YouTube land. Yeah, there's Cream, there's Aquarius, and David. Hi David, how are you? Good to see you there. And Henry as well. Brilliant. Listen, thank you everybody for always being supportive and everything that I do. I genuinely appreciate it. Tonight, it's 3 segments and a wee conclusion at the end. I'm not going to do an addendum, but I do have a funny video which is kind of cringy at the very end of tonight's show to let you see. It's not high quality because I've had to rip it out of TikTok itself, but we'll have a wee look at it. So let's just get on and begin. And if any of my moderators, okay, in both platforms, if you come across a question, okay, that anybody's asking, please just send me it on WhatsApp. It'll come up on my phone and we'll get an opportunity to answer those at the end of each segment, please. Okay, Brilliant. Right, so segment 1. Let me begin. So the additional member system, or AMS, is the foundation of how we elect MSPs in Holyrood. It gives every voter 2 separate votes, one for their local constituency MSP and one for the regional list. These 2 votes are not connected. Well, kind of are, but not directly. But we're not going to go into the complicated process of explaining how the calculation's done. Like I said, if you want to learn that, go to the YouTube channel, look for the video that has a little Einstein on the front of it. Constituency vote works for like a traditional first past the post system. You vote for your candidate and whoever gets the most votes wins the seat. But the regional list vote, that's where we can truly make or break the balance of power in Holyrood. The second vote, the list vote or the regional vote, is about proportional representation. It ensures that even smaller parties who may not win in constituencies can gain seats in Parliament. This is where Unionist parties like Labour and the Tories have played the game well. Despite losing many constituencies, they have learned to use the list vote to secure seats and to keep a strong opposition presence in Holyrood. That is a Unionist opposition in Holyrood. But let's talk about the pro-independence movement and how this works for us. For years, many independent supporters have been stuck with both Votes SNP strategy. And in all fairness, in 2011, we had that perfect storm of the right amount of constituency seats versus the right amount of votes on the list to deliver a majority. But we've been trying to replicate that since. And if we're really popular in the constituencies, we're never, ever going to get it. So when pro-independence voters give them their list vote too, it often doesn't lead to more seats. Those votes, in effect, are wasted because the SNP constituent success limits how many seats they can win. Meanwhile, Unionist parties who don't win as many constituencies have mastered the list vote and filled those seats, keeping themselves relevant in Holyrood. Relevant might be a bit strong of a word to use. They keep their presence felt in Holyrood by pulling faces, sneering and jumping around like pantomime characters. This is why we have a parliament where Unionist voices still hold a strong grip, constantly pushing back against the independence movement. Aligning with political loyalty is not enough for us anymore. We need to think bigger. We need to deliver a massive majority of pro-independence MSPs across Holyrood. Not just SNP MSPs, but MSPs from other pro-independence political entities. Voting strategically means that we can use the list vote to elect more pro-Indy voices. It's really important. Independence is not about just one party. It's about building a parliament that truly reflects the independence movement in Scotland. By working together, by voting smart, and by using the additional member system to its full potential, we can ensure Holyrood is filled with MSPs committed to our nation's future. Right, I'm going to tackle this big question of why not both Votes SNP? Okay, so on the surface, it feels like the right thing to do. Give both your votes to the party leading the independence charge. But the truth is, both Votes SNP strategy might actually be holding us back a bit. Here's why. We already dominate in the constituency seats. In many regions, they win the majority of those seats outright. For example, Glasgow in 2011, we basically won all 9 constituency seats. And as a result of that, I think there was about 110,000 list seats or 113,000 list seats. So in a brief model of the calculation, you take all of the constituencies, so there was 9, and you add 1 to it, and that is what's called your divisor, and you divide that into the amount of list votes that you got. So the SNP would have started around between 10 and 13,000 votes, while Labour started with around about 75,000 votes. Okay, now, unless we're walking into a position where it's a perfect storm of like constituencies versus list votes again, we're not going to win too many. And political hegemony for the independence movement is not good enough. We need to push Unionists out of Holyrood. And that is why we need to start considering these things. I'm not suggesting that you go and debate our own people. just send them to the video that's on the YouTube channel. I'm going to stick a link up for that somewhere. I don't know whether I can do that on here. We'll find it afterwards, right? But I'm going to be sticking that up there. What else? So you've got to imagine if we used the list vote more strategically, instead of giving both votes to the SNP, if, say, we did give it to another political entity, these parties, these people, okay, aren't winning any constituencies because they're list-only people. They're list-only political entities. So that means all of their list seats for the first list votes, for their first divisor goes into that round of selecting them for a seat. So let's say I was running. Let's just keep me as, I say, an independence person, okay? And I got, say, 25,000 votes. That means all of my votes would go into the first round for it all. So it would be like 0 constituency seats plus 1. So that would be 25,000 divided by 1. Okay? Simple as that. So we end up with 25,000 votes. It goes forward. And that's it. And the chances are I'm going to get a seat, even if it's maybe 5th or 6th down the list. But that is another pro-independence person's bum on a seat in Holyrood shouting for a right of self-determination. It's not about loyalty to one party. It's about loyalty to the independence movement, about a loyalty to our right of self-determination. I like the SNP. I like what they've done. They're not perfect. No political party is. Okay? But as far as I'm concerned, all you wonderful activists, all you great people out there that go out of their way to go to marches, that come here and speak to me here, okay, interact all the time, you guys are perfect, right? You're the ones that are going out of their way to do these things. And we need to start thinking slightly differently now, because it's not going to work in 2026. And when you consider what's just happened with Labour, we need to start doing it now. 18 months until May 2026. 18 months to educate people.
The additional member system is the backbone of Scotland's Holyrood elections, a clever blend of 2 voting systems designed to make sure everyone's voice counts. Here's how it works. Voters cast 2 ballots. The first is for a local constituency MSP, using a straightforward first-past-the-post method. Whoever gets the most votes wins. But it's the second vote, the regional vote, that really shakes things up. This one determines which party gains extra seats from an 8-region list, balancing the power in Parliament. Even if a party dominates the constituency vote, they can't sweep the chamber because the regional seats correct any over-representation. Now here's where it gets interesting for independence supporters. Imagine if, instead of using both votes for the SNP, that second vote went to smaller pro-independence parties, like the Greens or Alba. By doing this, we could bring even more pro-independence MSPs into Holyrood without splitting the vote. This tactical approach ensures the Parliament reflects the true support for independence, giving the movement a bigger, louder voice. More voices, more momentum, a clearer path to independence. That's the power of the AMS.
Okay, right, let's have a quick look. A round robin of the chit-chat. Fairground attraction. Liv. We are showing our age, okay? We are showing our age, alright? Fairground. Are they still on the go? Can anybody tell me? Are fairground attraction still on the go? That would be amazing if they are. Is there any activity going on? Not so much tonight. Yes, they are. Brilliant. Thank you, Connor. Let's have a quick look on... That's a quiz. G413QS. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Henry sharing on we are 5%. Yeah, I think we're a wee bit higher than 45% now. Stephen Kelly. At least the Tory membership is down to 7k. Very good. Could do with someone to break it down so each person knows the options within their area to maximise it. do you know what? It's up to the person. I would strongly recommend, this is for East Scotland, if you're voting down party lines, you're not going to change. Nobody will change their mind if they want to vote down party lines, and that's fair. All right, that's totally fair. And people need to maybe elevate themselves slightly higher than just party lines and think, right, okay, if everybody in the independence movement gave the SNP their first vote for the constituencies, and then let's just say in a perfect world that we were all like singing from the same hymn sheet and the SNP decided, you know something, we're not going to field any list seats. That would have be 1.1 million seats, or 1 million votes, if we take 2021 statistics across the whole of the regions. It would have meant four extra independents MSPs. It doesn't matter whether they're party or something else, right? Going to Holyrood, 4 in every region. That's 32 more independents people. That completely shadows Labour, Lib Dems and the Tories. And it means that we're kind of speaking to each other. We'll talk a bit more about that just now. So when it comes to looking at that, we wouldn't know until the data comes round. There's ISP, Alba and Greens. I'm going to vote for whichever one locally has the greatest chance of putting a list person on. Traditionally in Lothian that's been the Greens, but with everything that's happened with the Greens, do I want to do that? I don't know, I'll decide at the time. Do I want to vote for Alba? I don't know, I'll decide at the time. I might vote ISP, you know, because if they have somebody in the Lothians, why shouldn't I vote ISP? Why shouldn't we be considering those things? If it's a party and they have 4 list people on it, I would be probably voting for them. Because then if everybody voted for that particular party, then they would probably have more chance. But listen, that's a great question. And I think that I'm going to research that a little bit more, East Scotland. I think it's really good. Thank you very much for that. Anything else across in TikTok land? No. Right, okay. Let's get on with segment 2, which is about weaponising Holyrood for independence. It's kind of the same sort of theme, just a different way of telling it, because some people learn from different ways of explaining the same thing. So Holyrood has the potential to become the ultimate weapon for independence. It could be a parliament that truly represents the will of the Scottish people, where both government and opposition are united in their vision for Scotland's future, which is obviously independence. Imagine a Scottish Parliament where every debate is focused on what's best for Scotland, free from the constant interference and judgment and heckling from Unionist MSPs. Right now, Holyrood is filled with them, and they don't believe in Scotland's right to decide its own future. These Unionist MSPs, who often lose in constituencies but manage to cling on through the regional vote, are a barrier to real progress. They fill the opposition benches and use their Unionist influence to block or slow down every step towards independence. They sit there and they mock any legislation by the SNP. They tell lies about the Scottish government. But ask yourself this: if this was a Scottish Parliament, why do we even have MSPs who prioritise Westminster over Scotland? Scottish Parliament, MSPs representing Westminster, talking Scotland down. Why would anybody want that? So the truth of the matter here is that the AMS system allows them to remain, but that doesn't mean that we have to accept it. If pro-independence voters used their list votes more strategically, we could build an opposition that challenges the SNP not on whether independence should happen, but on how to make it happen faster and more effectively. Imagine the SNP in government being held to account by an opposition made up of pro-independence MSPs debating issues that genuinely matter and would benefit Scotland. This would transform Holyrood from a place where Unionists stall independence and act like clowns into a parliament that moves the cause forward with every session. This is why we can't afford to give Unionist parties any more chances of gaining seats. We need to use the regional list vote to fill those benches with pro-Scottish voices. And by supporting smaller pro-independence parties, we can build a parliament where MSPs so where every MSP is working for Scotland and not Westminster. It's time to weaponise Holyrood in favour of independence, and that means using what tools we've got to strategically shut down the Unionist influence altogether. And the 2026 election is our firm chance to do this. We can transform Holyrood into a true Scottish Parliament, filled with MSPs who want nothing more than to see Scotland flourish as an independent nation. If we fail to do this, we'll continue to be stuck in debates which are designed to keep us tied to the Union. It's time to take action, and the action starts with the list vote.
Why have we allowed Unionists to dominate the list vote and gain seats in Holyrood for so long? Think about it. Every election, pro-union MSPs, who rarely put Scotland first, use the regional list to slip into Holyrood. These same politicians stand against Scotland's right to decide its own future, instead siding with Westminster time and time again. But it doesn't have to be this way. Imagine a different scenario, one where the SNP leading the Scottish government is held to account by opposition MSPs who also believe in Scotland. Picture real debates, not against those who argue for Westminster's priorities, but against other pro-independence voices. This wouldn't just sharpen the vision for an independent Scotland, it would drown out the noise of those who oppose it. So the question is, wouldn't you rather see the SNP debating with the Greens' Alba, or a number of independent MSPs on the opposition benches, instead of fighting the same old battles against parties that have never truly supported Scotland's sovereignty? The list vote is the key to making that happen. It's time to use it strategically, time to bring more pro-independence voices into Holyrood and shift the balance for good.
Right then, let's have a quick round robin again, and I've got a question to ask you all just now. How would you feel if Holyrood was a pro-independence parliament? If we had, say, here's something, right? There's nothing stopping the SNP getting a majority at the constituencies, right? Seriously. And I know that Labour's popular just now. It was all about getting the Tories out, and I know that there's a new leader now for the Conservatives, and he's going to be new and shiny, and all the Tory voters will be like, oh, let's go and vote for him. Okay, but that means you're going to have a whole bunch of Tory list votes and a whole bunch of Labourite list votes as well, and they're going to get in. But it's good because it kind of means that there's not going to be as much tactical voting on the list. At least we need to tactically vote on the list, okay? Seriously. So the question just now for you all to think about is, how would you feel, how would you react to having an SNP government, let's say just a minority, just one or two seats off like there is just now, or even a majority, but then also having, say, 30 MSPs that are from various other pro-independence parties or individuals that have ran as independents that are pro-independent. How do you feel that would work? How do you think that would go? And we'll come back to this question after the next segment when we're rounding up as well towards the end, because I need to know how you guys would feel about it. I need to know if you want some tools I've got to help you speak to other people about it, because I've made something as well. I'm not going to put it out tonight, but I need to know what you feel about it. All right, really important. Who is speaking just now? There's a great conversation going on about the European Union across in YouTube land. That's very interesting. Stephen Kelly. Already independence. Means the mandate is there. I agree with you. Totally agree with you, Stephen. It's a shame that the guys haven't used it. I think if there was a larger independence opposition in Holyrood, that they would be held more to account for that. Okay? I think that would be great. Alan Carnarnot. I think Alex Salmond had that vision when he formed the Alba. Yeah, of course he did. Now, here's an interesting thing, Alan. See, I think that the animosity that is bred between SNP and Alba people, and I'm not talking all of them, I'm just talking some loud people and that feel perhaps maybe that we should have voted for Alba 2. I agree 100% that we should have done that. Alba were right in 2011. A supermajority. People understood there, and do you know something? Some of the hardcore independence people who went away and joined Alba were thinking, right, we've left our brothers and sisters with the SNP. They know what to do. They know to not vote for the SNP. But nobody was saying that. Alba was saying that, but the SNP weren't saying that. And that's a damn shame, because the opportunity was there. It was there in 2021 for the taking. But nobody took it. Nobody took it. And it was seriously disappointing. But that is voter psychology, though, because it's a new party, okay? And the party that you love, okay, the SNP, like, oh, I don't want to vote for anybody else other than the SNP. But 1.1 million votes across the whole country. 2 MSPs? Nah, I think that if we elevate ourselves above party politics and look at the potential of 1.1 million votes, it'll be more now. Here's why it's more, right? In 2021, it was just me in the house that was voting. My 2 oldest kids were not of the age to vote. Okay, my wife, did I marry her by then? 2021? Yeah, I'd married her by then, because we got married before then. So, did we? Yes, we did. God, she'd kill me if she heard me say that. Anyway, point being is, there is now myself, my oldest son, my daughter, who can vote in Holyrood elections, and my wife, we have like 300% more pro-independence votes in this household. How many other households are like that? My son will vote SNP, and whatever second vote towards independence. My daughter will do the same, and my wife will do the same as well, because it's genuinely important. But going from 1 vote to 4 votes in one house, come on, how many other households are like that just now around Scotland? How many more are like that? Yeah, you might find that there's some Unionist houses like that as well, but are they as passionate as we are with such a positive message? Don't think so. I don't think so at all. Right, let's get on to segment 3. This is a bit of a longer one, and then we have a nice little roundup at the end as well. So, question is, are we truly pro-independence, or are we a political hegemony? Okay, it's a hard question, but we need to ask ourselves that. If we're being honest, too many of the independence movement become wrapped up in party loyalty. The both votes SNP mentality has been so ingrained that we forgot independence is bigger than any one party. This isn't about the SNP's dominance, it's about Scotland's future. The truth is, political partisanship is a tool that can divide us. Divide and conquer is a tactic that has been used throughout history to weaken movements, and it's exactly what is happening in Scotland today. By sticking rigidly to political loyalties, we're playing right into the hands of the Unionist parties who benefit from our division. While we argue amongst ourselves, they secure seats in Holyrood and block our progress. This division is destroying us from within, and if we don't act soon, it could destroy our chances of independence altogether. The independence movement, us, the people of Scotland that want something better, we need to work as one. We need to be a collective that is ready to deliver for Scotland. And this means putting aside our political differences and recognising that independence is a national cause, not a political policy. It means using the AMS systems not to promote party dominance, but to maximise the number of pro-independence MSPs in Holyrood. We need to be strategic, not partisan. We need to come together and focus on the bigger picture. We can turn the Holyrood Parliament into something that works for Scotland. not against Scotland. It's about delivering both a pro-independence government and a pro-independence opposition. It's about ensuring that every debate in Holyrood is about how to make independence happen and not whether it should happen. We need to transcend the politics of division and unite as a movement, and only by doing this can we create the kind of parliament that will truly deliver independence. This isn't about winning elections, it's about winning Scotland's future, and we can only do that if we work together as one. We need to stop fighting amongst ourselves and start fighting for Scotland. To unite, we need to shift our mindset from party loyalty to a shared vision of Scotland's future. We must recognise that independence is a national cause, not tied to any single political party. And this means putting the movement first above partisan politics. We need to unite by understanding that pro-independence parties all share the same goal, even if their approaches differ. We need to support each other, acknowledging that no single party can achieve independence on its own. Strategic voting is key to uniting the movement. By using the regional list vote to elect pro-independence MSPs from smaller parties, we can strengthen Holyrood with a collective of pro-Scottish voices. Unity means breaking away from both Votes SNP mindset and embracing the idea that is spreading the vote amongst multiple pro-independence parties makes us stronger. Also, it's crucial to engage in open and respectful dialogue across the movement. And we need to listen to the different perspectives and focus on the common goal of Scotland's independence. Let's build that sense of community. Let's start here and now. There's people out there that do this already. You've got big organisations and small grassroots organisations. Saorsa is the Gaelic word for freedom. That's why I use it. That's why the wonderful people that I hang out with on Discord and in our WhatsApp community, and basically here just now, you guys are amazing with what you do. And we have people that are green, we have people that are Alba, we have people that are ISP, we have people that are SNP, and we've got people that just don't know who to vote for. But we're all working together, and we're all working to deliver this message, a positive message for independence. We can only achieve this, like I'm saying, if we work together, support each other, and strategically use the tools we have to make the independence movement stronger. It's time to rise above party politics and come together as a united force committed to Scotland's future. The next step is to take action by shifting from talk to tangible strategy. First, we need to win the hearts and minds of our own people to demonstrate the benefits of a pro-Scottish government having a pro-Scottish opposition to debate with in Holyrood. We need to educate ourselves and educate ourselves and others and understand the power of the additional member system and how to use it strategically to deliver a pro-Scottish Holyrood where the voice are taking instruction from Scotland rather than from London. We can't continue with both Votes SNP approach if it's not maximising the pro-independent seats in Holyrood. The key though is to spread the word that the regional list vote should go to other pro-independence entities and individuals. People are not going to like that. You just ask them the question, would you not prefer to have pro-independence MSPs in the opposition arguing and debating and calling each other names that are all of the same mindset for independence? I question anybody that does not think that that is a good idea. Truly. We also must create a unity by fostering collaboration amongst all pro-independence parties and their supporters. That's going to be a tough gig. Okay? And this means moving beyond party rivalry and focusing on that common goal of independence. The whole thing scares the bejesus out of me because if we go back to this image, which I put up earlier on, all right, as this image here, tactical voting, and this is the sort of comments that I get on social media. This is actually a tame one. You know, I've had other ones which are less tame, but I think that it's achievable. Definitely achievable. We have the time just now, and I think we can do it. I really, really do. Where's my button? There's my button.
In 2026, we face a critical moment for Scotland's future. The recent UK general election has shown us what happens when Westminster dominates. Labour's landslide win signals a return to politics as usual, where Scotland's voice is drowned out. We cannot afford to let that happen in Holyrood. If we don't act now, the opposition benches will once again be filled with pro-union parties, blocking our path to independence. This election isn't just about electing a pro-Scottish government. It's about using our regional votes to create a pro-Scottish opposition too. An opposition that will push the SNP to deliver on independence. If we stick to old voting habits, we risk handing power back to those who will never prioritise Scotland. But we have the power to change that. In 2026, we can fill Holyrood with independence-supporting MSPs on both sides of the chamber. We can challenge the status quo and create a parliament that fights for Scotland's future. No more Westminster-controlled voices holding us back. This is our moment to ensure that every seat counts for Scotland. Let's not waste it.
Independence isn't just about political strategies or party loyalty. It's about the will of the people. At the heart of it all, independence is something that comes from the collective determination of the people of Scotland. It's about every one of us recognising that our future lies in our hands, our voices. And we need to express this through a simple yet powerful act, a cross in the box. And that's where it starts. We've spent so much time thinking about independence as something far away, something tied to debates in Parliament or decisions made by politicians. But the truth is, we are much, much closer than we realise. It starts with the decisions we make, the strategies we choose, and the way we use our votes. We are the driving force behind this movement, not any one party or any one leader. And when we unite behind a shared goal, using the tools that we have, like the additional member system, we can shape Holyrood into a parliament that truly reflects the will of the people. By casting that vote, not just for government, but for a parliament filled with pro-independence voices, we take a huge step towards realising the future that we want. Imagine what it will feel like when we see a Holyrood where every debate is focused on what is best for Scotland, not on defending our right to independence, but how to achieve it. That's what this is all about. It's about transcending party politics and recognising that independence is a national cause driven by each of us who believes in Scotland's right to decide its own future. It's about understanding that we hold the key to change in our hands every time we cast a vote. Crossing a box isn't just a mark on a ballot, it's a powerful expression of your belief in a better future for Scotland. And that's what independence is. It comes from the people, it comes from you, it comes from all of us when we think about it.
Can't get no sleep.
Ta-da! That's the end of the presentation, the end of the main body of the chat. We still have that goofy video which I've ripped from TikTok to watch in 5 minutes or so. But I did ask you earlier on, okay, how do you feel about a pro-independence Holyrood, not just government but opposition? Okay, so let's just put that out there, start doing it. I know that YouTube is probably about 45 seconds behind, so I'll go to TikTok first here just now. So everybody in TikTok land, okay, Liv saying I'd happily vote SNP if I could vote in another area in Edinburgh. The person that you're talking about there is no longer an MP, and that person will not be sitting for Holyrood with the SNP. So you'll be okay, Liv, for here. You know, Alan, thank you very much. I hope you were referring to me when you say I was so right there. And we do have to unite as a whole. So what do you think the benefits would be having a Scottish government that was pro-independence, the SNP, debating against a bunch of Alba, a bunch of ISPs, a bunch of Greens, a bunch of independents, making up about 30 odd people? What do you think of that? Do you think it'd be worthwhile? Yes, in East Scotland, someone has to engage with the SNP to stop this wastage. Right now, that's going to be the toughest thing in the world to do, okay? Because they're very entrenched in the hegemony of politics for it all. Keith Brown, a man I quite respect, I've met him a couple of times, said at a party conference that he got a lot of stick for the SNP 1 and 2 strategy. And he was very sort of like, why wouldn't I want to vote for a party that I truly believe in though? And that's fine. You can believe that, Keith, and you're a good guy. But sometimes we have to think outside the political box and look at the bigger picture. Because if we don't do this in 2026, I feel that we're going to have a smaller government. If we got the independence movement behind this whole strategy, including all the SNP voters, if we could just sort of like the SNP with their mandate, they're not allowed to promote other political parties. But all they have to do is say, right, we're not going to put anybody on the list. They don't have to say anything else because the rest of us would do the work. The rest of us would do the work. Shit, you know, if that happened, I might even run. You know, I swear to God, that would be an incredible thing. I've calculated all I need is 21,000 votes in Lothian to have a chance of getting a seat in Holyrood. 21,000 votes. Do you think I could get that? Maybe. Something to think about. Anyway, right, let's have a look. Anybody done that? Scottish Independence Convention needs set up for. So there's a couple of conventions, Stephen. There's the Believe in Scotland one that they're wanting to do a whole sort of survey idea of like a national conversation, what they think would be best for not an independent Scotland, basically for Scotland's future. Okay. Also, I think there's another one coming up as well for something else, but the convention needs to have the ability where everybody has a fair voice, and we're not turning around and just because I vote SNP and because I'm a member of the SNP that people diminish what I'm saying. Likewise as well, SNP people shouldn't diminish what Alba people are saying, and it should be based around independence and not about social conjecture and opinions about things. It has to be about working together. And that whole conversation can start here tonight. With everybody that's watching, okay, you have to decide right now whether you are going to be a pro-independence person or stuck in the paradigm of political hegemony. Okay, and when I say that, that goes for every political party, not just the SNP. Are you stuck being critical of the SNP because you prefer Alba? Are you stuck being critical of Alba because you're with the SNP? Then you're both wrong. All right? You're both a liability to the independence movement, to the self-determination of our nation. And you need to get over yourselves. You really do. And that may sound a bit chip on my shoulder, a bit conceited, but maybe some of us need to hear that. I certainly needed to hear it, you know. When I first discovered how the additional member system operated, I spent 6 months before Holyrood 2021 getting battered verbally on social media, basically listening to an SNP Zoom call when there was about 60 of us in there with this charming gentleman talking about it's the volume of votes, it's the volume of votes. It's not the volume of votes. It isn't. And to be perfectly honest, 1.1 million votes, that's a lot of votes. That shows a lot of respect and loyalty to the SNP. But do you know what it doesn't show? Results. It doesn't show results. It was a waste. I campaigned for the SNP for my local candidate. Wonderful woman. It wasn't Joanna. She didn't actually run for Holyrood. She didn't get in. And she wasn't on the list, which is a shame. But I campaigned for her. And I campaigned for her with both votes, SNP, and I hated it. I hated it. Did I vote both votes SNP? No. Did I express myself to other people about both votes SNP? Yes, I did, and I said no. But I had a poster in my window that said, well, it's ones I made myself, both votes SNP over 3 windows. I still have one of those words in my window as a reminder for every time I walk home. Never, ever, ever do that again. Ever. I should get that tattooed on my arm. Never do that again. Ever. Let's have a quick look before we show this silly video. Don't know why ex-MPs or MSPs couldn't join Believe in Scotland, even get Nicola to speak, so she's not frontline SNP now. So yeah, absolutely, Stephen. I totally agree with that. My worry, this is from G413QZ, my worry is if we don't use our system properly, we will let in reform. Well, yeah, there's a possibility of that, okay, but it's democracy. A reform candidate would have to have 4% of the list vote before your votes are even tallied and counted towards being included in the calculation process. You have to have 4% of the vote for that. I don't think that they'll get 4%. Alba's taken a very long time to get to the point where they would have 4% of the vote, and that's a damn shame, you know. Here we go. Henry, a true reflection of a true democracy if Alba and pro-Indy parties had seats in our parliament. Yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree. SIC still exists, but not to. What is SIC? Can you tell me what that is? G413QZ. I probably know it when it's not in its abbreviation. Across, and you can see I'm looking at my laptop here and my second screen over there when I'm looking at the different places, and straight ahead here is where my camera is. So if I'm looking that way, I'm looking at YouTube. If I'm looking that way, I'm looking at TikTok. Still some silly history, mainly west of the country, which doesn't help. Yeah, that is a shame. One can't complain. Yeah, of course, if one doesn't try, then one can't complain. Absolutely, very important. And Alan, your parents were Labour back in the day. I voted Labour. I voted Labour because I believed that they would give us self-rule. That was back in old school Labour when they were actually a left-wing party, not a party of, you know, gift gathering. Is it after midnight? Yes. Gift gathering motherfuckers. You know, I can swear now. I try not to swear before midnight on my show. Scottish Independence Convention. Right. Thank you, Stephen. Good. Right, okay, so listen, thank you very much, everybody. All right. I am going to leave you with a video and come back again just to say cheerio properly. Right. I hope this plays. It is very poor quality because I ripped it from TikTok, and it's super embarrassing for Ian Murray. Sorry, when I hear his name, it just makes me retch. The man is a joke.
This conference has so much rizz. Low-key drip. This is sending me. Slay the Boots house down. Houston, I'm deceased. Slay. Liverpool is giving me life. No gassing. Peak flex.
I swear to God, my daughter was like You know, that was funny when you watch TikTok videos with dads in cars talking like that. But seeing Ian Murray do it gives me the dry bulk. I love my daughter. She's brilliant. Did I tell you that she got like 8 A's for her national fives? Take that for your shite education in Scotland, by the way. Right? Amazing. Right, so I'm gonna put that up on TikTok as well. I think, what an idiot, man, honestly. Honestly. Have I got anything else to show you here? No, I've played all my jingles and that's us pretty much done for tonight. So anybody that's watching just now, please, oh, good grief, there's gifts there. Thank you very much, both Liv and Ali. You know that I have no idea how to do gifts on TikTok. We will keep them until there's about £10 worth, and then we will donate it to some pro-Palestinian charity. Oh, by the way, if you've not seen it, okay, when Nutty Yahoo was in the United Nations in the past 24 hours, about to deliver a speech, everybody walked out. Everybody in it, all the delegations. I think there was a few random pockets of friends of Israel that were there. What a shame. It's not really, is it? Listen, thank you everybody for taking the time to hang out tonight for all that sort of stuff. We'll be back next Friday, and if you're a Discord member, please come across. I'll be there in about 5 minutes. And anybody that's wanting to join Discord, send me a DM. I think I need to speak to Aquarius. You're wanting to join Discord. If anybody does want to do it, just all you have to do is send me a DM. I need to know your Discord ID. Basically do a random security check on you, stalk you at your house, and check your hard drive that you're not for the British deep state or an agent provocateur, and that we shouldn't be SNP voters being beware of you. Okay, hold on a second. 1 second. No, that's not the right one. Oh, that's a shame. I can't show you that. I'll show you this one again. Close that one down. Just a reminder that the First Minister, you know, he's totally beware of me and my voting policies. Mentally. Good night, everybody. Thanks for watching.